Pandora is one of the most fascinating figures in Greek mythology, often described as the first mortal woman. But why does she have the world's most famous box named after her? Let's find out. Welcome to Myths in 5 minutes. The most famous version of the myth of Pandora comes from Hesiod's 8th century poem, Works and Days. The story begins with the Titan, Prometheus, known as a clever trickster who often defied the will of Zeus, the king of the gods. His most daring act of rebellion was stealing fire from Olympus and gifting it to humanity. This gift of fire was more than warmth and light. It gave humans access to technology, knowledge, and progress. They quickly prospered with Prometheus's aid. Zeus, in a typically petulant response, was enraged by Prometheus's actions and devised a cunning punishment for the humans. But instead of striking directly at Prometheus, Zeus chose to take his revenge on the mortals who had benefited from the theft. He ordered Hephaestus, the god of fire and craftsmanship, to fashion a woman out of clay and earth. The other gods then adorned this new creation with their finest gifts. Aphrodite gave her beauty and charm. Athena gave her skill and the ability to weave. Hermes gave her cunning words and a sly mind. The Charites gave her elegance, and the Haurai gave her a garland of flowers. This perfect yet dangerous being was named Pandora, meaning all gifted. When she entered the world of men, her beauty and grace amazed all who saw her. She spoke gently and smiled often, yet behind her charm lay a quick wit and a restless curiosity. Zeus sent Pandora to Epimetheus, the brother of Prometheus. Prometheus had warned his brother never to accept gifts from Zeus, but Epimetheus was bowled over by her beauty, charm, and cunning words, and married her anyway. He accepted Pandora as his wife and unwittingly welcomed disaster into the world. Pandora had been given a mysterious jar called a pithos by Zeus. The word box only appeared later due to a mistranslation in the 16th century. The jar was sealed, and Pandora was instructed not to open it. So why give it to her in the first place, Zeus? Well, in this case, curiosity killed the cat. One day, unable to resist temptation, Pandora lifted the lid. At once, a torrent of horrors burst forth: disease, toil, sorrow, old age, envy, hunger, and countless other afflictions that would haunt humankind until the end of days. Instantly regretting her decision, Pandora slammed shut the lid, but it was already too late. The evils had escaped. In Hesiod's version, hope is the one spirit that doesn't escape. It remains inside the jar, either as a comfort to humans in times of trouble, or as a cruel trick to deepen the torment of life. Interestingly, Hesiod's Works and Days is not the only account of Pandora. In another telling, the jar contains not evils but blessings. When Pandora opened it, these blessings escaped and were lost to humankind, leaving us with only toil and sorrow. In this version, the story becomes not just a warning about curiosity, but a lament for a world deprived of divine gifts. So what's the message behind the myth? At its core, the myth of Pandora's box attempts to explain the origin of human suffering. Why do sickness, death, and hardship exist? For the ancient Greeks, the answer was bound up in a story of divine punishment and human weakness. In some traditions, she is seen merely as a pawn of Zeus, an innocent tricked into unleashing evil. In others, she becomes a symbol of female curiosity and blame. There are clear parallels between Pandora's curiosity and that of the biblical woman Eve, who eats the apple from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden against the command of God. Modern readers often see Pandora more sympathetically. She is, after all, set up by the gods, who surely should have known better. The myth has endured across centuries, becoming a metaphor for actions that cannot be undone. Once the lid is lifted, the consequences spill out beyond control. Today, the phrase "opening Pandora's box" is part of everyday language, referring to any decision that leads to unforeseen and irreversible problems.